Last class, we had finished with two of the problems. Now, let us deal with some other problems wherein we have different types of loadings coming across. So, in this problem, as you can see, we are supposed to determine the reactions at point A and E for this beam, which is subjected to different types of loadings. Now, first, let us have a close look on what types of supports does this beam have. So we can see that at point A, we have a hinged support, whereas at point E, we have a roller support. We all know that reactions for hinge, we have one horizontal, one vertical, and reactions for roller, we have only one that is vertical. Now, coming to the actions, that is external loads which are acting on the beam. So we can see that we have a vertical load of 100 kilonewton acting at point B. You should be very meticulous while identifying the loads which are acting on the beam, because any load you miss, you will finally end up with wrong results. Okay, so we see that at point B we have a concentrated load of 100 kilonewton. At point C, you have a movement, that is a clockwise movement of intensity 100 kilonewton meter. And from span B to C, you have a UDL of intensity 20 kilonewton per meter. At point D, you have 200 kilonewton inclined load, which is inclined at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to horizontal. Now, with this data, first we shall proceed on to draw a free body diagram wherein we are going to explain, or we are going to draw the actions and reactions. So we all know that actions are nothing but they are the external loads which are acting on the object, whereas reactions are the substitutions for supports. Now, action. So as I told you, we have the first load, that is 100 kilonewton, that is vertical load which is acting at point B. At point B, the same thing is being shown in the free body diagram, that is 100 kilonewton acting vertically downwards. Now next we have a UDL of intensity 20 kilonewton per meter acting over a span of 3 meters. So we need to convert this UDL to a point load. And how do we do that? It is done by simply calculating the area of rectangle. So it is 20 into 3. 20 into 3. Now, if you calculate this 20 into 3, it is 60, and it is exactly going to act at the center. So since the UDL is spanning over 3 meters, the conversion point load is going to act exactly at the centers, that is 1.5 meters on either side. So BC is being now divided into two equal parts, that is 1.5 each. 1.5 each. Now, coming across another movement, that is 100 kilonewton meter, which is a clockwise movement acting at point C. So it is being placed at point C. Now next is we have a 200 kilonewton inclined load at an angle of 45 degrees, which is being placed at point D. And you can see here, after resolving this inclined force, you're going to have one vertical force and one horizontal force, arrows towards the point of intersection, because the inclined force is in the direction towards the point of intersection. So this is our free body diagram. Now let us come to the reactions. So at point A, we have a hinged support. We have a hinged support which has two reactions, one vertical and one horizontal. So we have given two reactions, that is RAY in vertical direction and RAX in horizontal direction. Now the question arises, why this name RAX and RAY? It is nothing but it is RAY means it is reaction at A in vertical direction, and similarly RAX means reaction at A in horizontal direction, and that is why we name it as RAX and RAY. Now at E we have a roller support, which has only one reaction, that is denoted by RE. Now that our free body diagram is ready, we are next supposed to apply the equations of equilibrium in order to find out the unknowns. So the number of unknowns in this particular question is RAX, RAY and RE. So three unknowns are to be identified. So in this problem, we do have horizontal forces. That is horizontal component of 200 kilonewton. So we will use equation of equilibrium for horizontal forces, that is sigma fx is equal to 0. And we know that for sigma fx is equal to 0, all the forces acting rightwards are positive, leftwards are negative. So before applying this equation, first let us see how many horizontal forces are there in the diagram. In the diagram, we have two horizontal forces. That is, one is the horizontal component of 200 kilonewton and the other one is the horizontal reaction. So no other horizontal forces other than this. Now the first one is reaction. So RAX, which is acting rightwards. So RAX is taken with the positive sign. And we have a component of 200 kilonewton, that is horizontal component, which is 200 cos 45, because it is inclined at an angle 45 degrees with respect to horizontal. So 200 cos 45 negative because it is acting leftwards. So RAX minus 200 cos 45 is equal to 0. If you rearrange the terms, you will get RAX as 141.42 kilonewton. So you have calculated one of the reactions, that is RAX. Now moving on to next, we have another equation of equilibrium, that is sigma Fy is equal to 0, wherein we are going to take only vertical forces into consideration. Now before moving on with this equation, first let us count how many number of vertical forces are there. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So we have total 5 forces in this problem. So we should have 5 components in the equation. Now moving on with the first one, that is reaction at E. It is acting upwards. So it is with the positive sign, that is RE is with positive sign. Next vertical reaction, we have RAY. Again it is acting upwards, so RAY is also taken with the positive sign. Next we have 100 kilonewton force which is acting downwards, therefore it is taken with the negative sign. So it is minus 100. Next we have another vertical force acting downwards, that is 60 kilonewton. So again that is taken with the negative sign. Finally we have a vertical component of 200 kilonewton, which is 200 sine 45, which is acting vertically downwards. Therefore it is taken with the negative sign. That is 200 sine 45. Now what has happened in this equation is we have two unknowns, that is RE and RAY. So we frame a equation wherein after rearranging the terms for this sigma Fy is equal to 0, we are going to get one equation, that is RE plus RAY is equal to 301.42 kilonewton. Now let us keep this equation as it is. We shall apply the third equation of equilibrium, and then come back to this equation and solve for the unknown. Now, as we have discussed in the earlier class also, we are going to apply the moment at such a point wherein maximum unknowns will become zero. So it is feasible that we take a moment center as point A, as point A. So if you take moment center as point A, first let us count how many forces are going to be there total in the diagram for moment equation. Now for moment equation, you are supposed to consider this moment or couple which is acting at point E also. Okay, so now total number of forces which are available in this diagram, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So totally you have 8 number of forces which are acting on the beam. Now total 8 numbers, but we are taking A as the moment center, and amongst 8 we shall see how many forces passes through this point A. How many forces line of action passes through this point A? So we have RAY which passes through point A, RAX which passes through point A, and similarly you have a horizontal component of 200 kilonewton which is going to pass through point A. So we have 3 forces actually which are going to pass through point A, and therefore we are going to have only 5 components in the moment equation. 5 components in the moment equation, because out of 8 you have 3 forces which are actually passing through the moment center. Since they do not have any distance of separation, they become 0. They become 0. So we shall see which are those 5 components. Now let us start with the first one, that is RE. RE. So we are calculating the moment, mind you. So we all assume that clockwise movement is taken with positive sign, whereas anti-clockwise movement is taken with the negative sign. So RE, what type of force is this? It is a vertical force. So distance to be multiplied is horizontal. At what horizontal distance is RE acting from point A? It can be seen that it is acting at a distance of 3 plus this 3, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 3, 12. So it is acting at a horizontal distance of 12 meters from A. So it is RE into 12. What type of movement is it causing? So thumb on the movement center, move your forefinger in the direction of force, and if you do so, you find that it is causing a anti-clockwise movement. Therefore, we have given it with the negative sign. Negative sign. Now next, you have a vertical component of this 200 kilonewton, that is this force. So you have a vertical force which will be acting at point D. At point D, so that component is 200 sine 45. Since the force is vertical, the distance to be multiplied is horizontal. So this vertical force or this vertical component which is acting at point D is at a distance of 9 meters from A. So it will be 200 sine 45 into 9. Now again, if you look at the type of movement it is causing, you can see that it is causing a clockwise movement. Clockwise movement, thereby you are giving the positive sign to it. Now next, let us come to the 60 kilonewton force. 60 kilonewton force, again it is a vertical force. Distance to be multiplied is horizontal distance. So it is acting, this 60 kilonewton is acting at a horizontal distance of 4.5 meters from A, thereby causing a clockwise movement. Hence it is taken with the positive sign, that is 60 into 4.5. 60 into 4.5. Now we have one more vertical force, that is 100 kilonewton. 100 kilonewton, which is again a vertical force. Vertical force. So distance to be multiplied is a horizontal distance. So it is acting at a horizontal distance of 3 meters from A, causing a clockwise rotation. So it will be 100 into 3 with the positive sign. With the positive sign. And finally, we have this movement. this moment which is acting at point C. And always keep one thing in mind: if a couple or a moment is acting, then you are supposed to directly write the magnitude in the moment equation without multiplying the distance, because the magnitude is inclusive of multiplication of distance. You can see it there itself. All the other forces, point load forces, the magnitudes are kilonewton only, and when you multiply it with distance, it becomes kilonewton meter, whereas this couple unit is already kilonewton meter. Kilonewton meter. So you are directly supposed to write only the magnitude without multiplying the distance. So you should keep this one thing in mind. And since this 100 kilonewton is a clockwise movement, we have taken this with the positive sign. We have taken it with the positive sign. So let us count the number of components once again, thereby to ensure that we have not left out any of the components. So initially we had 8 forces totally acting on the beam, and 3 amongst those 8 were passing through movement center. So we should have 5 components. Let us count. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have covered all the forces. Now if you can just concentrate on this equation, you can see that there is only one unknown, that is in the form of RE. So if you rearrange the terms in this equation and if you solve for the unknown, that is RE, you will end up getting a result as RE is equal to 161.899 kilonewton. Now, if you substitute this value of RE in this equation 1, you will be able to calculate RAY. So substituting RE in equation number 1, so you can get, or you may calculate the reaction, that is RAY, as 139.522 kilonewton. So we have calculated all the 3 unknowns. We have calculated all the 3 unknowns, that is RAX. You have calculated RE and RAY. So, okay, now in this problem, you can find that this is a VTU question paper problem. And this is a beam AB, which is subjected to different types of loadings. And you find that at point A you have a hinge, at point B you have a roller. Now let us study about what types of loadings are actually acting on the beam. So you can see that there is a 5 kilonewton vertical load which is acting at point B. You have a anti-clockwise couple which is acting at point C. You have a UDL which is acting along this span, that is from D to B. Next, you have one more UDL which is acting in the vertical direction at point B with 1 meter span. So nothing much to worry about in this problem. It is only thing, you have 2 UDLs, one in horizontal direction and one in vertical direction. The conversion and location is going to be the same as in usual UDL. So we shall see how do we draw the free body diagram. Now free body diagram for this section, as you can see, at A you have a hinge, so you have one horizontal reaction, you have one vertical reaction, and at point B you have a roller support, therefore you have one vertical reaction, that is RB. Now coming to the point load, you have 5 kilonewton point load which is 1 meter from A, and it is acting exactly at that point. So you have an anti-clockwise couple, that is 10 kilonewton meter, which is being shown here. Now next you have a UDL that is from D to B, intensity 2 kilonewton per meter, spanning over 3 meters. So area of rectangle 2 into 3, that is 6, which is going to act exactly at the center, that is 1.5 meter on either side. So since the span is 3 meter, it will be 1.5 meter on the either side. Similarly, now see, this was vertical force because the UDL between the span DB was acting vertically downwards, whereas at point B you have a UDL which is spanning 1 meter and it is acting to the left. So again you have to calculate the area of rectangle, that is 3 into 1, which is again going to act exactly at the center, that is center of 1 meter, which is being shown here. 3 into 1 is 3, 0.5 meters on either side. So your point load will be acting leftwards because UDL is acting leftwards. Okay. So now let us apply equations of equilibrium in order to calculate the unknowns. Since we have horizontal forces acting in the diagram, we shall apply sigma fx. So how many horizontal forces are there? There are only two horizontal forces, that is Rax and 3 kilonewton. So Rax is moving to the right, therefore positive. 3 kilonewton is moving to the left, therefore negative. So we have Rax, that is with plus, minus 3 because it is acting leftwards, and thereby you can say that Rax is equal to 3 kilonewton. So you have calculated the unknown, one of the unknown. Now next we shall apply another equation of equilibrium, that is sigma Fy. Before applying the equation, first you are supposed to count the number of vertical forces. So how many vertical forces are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are 4 vertical forces. The first one, Ray, moving upwards, positive, so plus Ray. Next you have Rb, moving upwards, so positive, Rb. 5 kilonewton moving downwards, so with the negative sign, minus 5. And 6 kilonewton which is acting downwards, therefore minus 6. So you have 4 forces. Again you have 2 unknowns here, thereby rearranging the terms you can write this as Ray plus Rb is equal to 11 kilonewton. That is, you can take this as equation number 1. Now we have the third equation of equilibrium, that is sigma moment. So if you apply this sigma moment, we shall apply it at such a point where number of unknowns will become 0. So we will apply it at point A. Now before applying the moment, I have told you we are supposed to calculate how many, you are supposed to count how many total number of forces are there. So we shall count how many forces are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So total there are 7 forces. Amongst 7, how many passes through point A? There are only 2 forces which passes through point A. So therefore I should have 5 components in movement. Now let us apply the movement with A as movement center. So the first one, RB. What type of force is it? It is a vertical force. Distance to be multiplied, horizontal. So at what distance is RB acting from A? It is 1, 2, 3, 4.5, 5, 6 meters. And what type of movement is it causing? It is causing a anti-clockwise movement. So RB into 6 with negative sign. Now next you have a 5 kilonewton force here, which is again a vertical force. Distance to be multiplied, horizontal. It is acting at 1 meter from A. So 5 into 1, which is going to cause a clockwise movement. So it is taken with the positive sign. That is 5 into 1 with positive sign. Next you have this 6 kilonewton. What type of force is this? It is a vertical force. Distance to be multiplied, horizontal. It is acting at a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4.5 meters, causing a clockwise rotation. So it is positive 6 into 4.5. Next, you have this 3 kilonewton force which is horizontal. which is horizontal. So distance to be multiplied is vertical. So this line of action of this 3 kilonewton force will be in horizontal direction like this. Therefore, distance to be multiplied is vertical. So at what vertical distance is this 3 kilonewton acting from point A? It is acting at a distance of 0.5 meters. And what type of movement is it causing? It is causing a anti-clockwise movement. Therefore, it is taken with the negative sign, that is 3 into 0.5 meter. And finally, you have a anti-clockwise couple which is acting at point C of intensity 10 kilonewton meter. And as we have already discussed that for a couple or a moment, you're directly going to write the magnitude and you're not going to multiply the distance. So directly 10 kilonewton meter with negative sign because it is a anti-clockwise movement. So it is minus 10. So in this total equation, you have only one unknown, that is RB. Thereby rearranging the terms, you can calculate RB as 3.417 kilonewton. 3.417 kilonewton. So once you get this RB, you can easily substitute the value of RB in equation 1 and you can calculate RAY, which you will get it as 7.583 kilonewton. So you calculated all the three reactions. Now in case if you want to calculate the resultant of this RAX and RAY, you can always calculate. So you all know that how to calculate the resultant for RAX and RAY, that is R is equal to sigma fx square plus sigma fy square. Similarly, RA can be calculated by squaring RAX and RAY. So this is optional. You may do this or you may not do this step. So RA is equal to square root of RAX square plus RAY square. Anyhow, you have RAX value, you have RAY value. If you substitute, you will get only one force, that is RA, which is resultant of both of these reactions. So once again, it is just optional. It is well and good if you calculate this and represent it in the result.